Hey, it's Alexis, and you know the drill. It's time for our June wrap-up. Pretty sure that I picked 15 books for my TBR for the month. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I did not read most of my TBR. I ended up reading 14 books for the month, but I think I read 2 off of the TBR. So we're just going to try again in July and hopefully read my whole TBR. Let's go ahead and talk about the books I did read in June because I had some good ones. So first book I read in June was First Down by Grace Riley. And I ended up giving this one a 2.5 stars. And that makes me really sad that I gave it 2.5 stars because just look at this cover. It's so beautiful and it made me really want to love this. This is a sports romance. It's about James, who I don't know what position he played, but he was on the football team. And Bex, who is just another student in his English class, I believe, who decides to tutor him so that he can stay on the team. She also needed somebody to fake date her. So she figured, oh, I'll tutor you. You fake date me. It'll work out. This book was weird. And I used the word tit, so much. It aggravated me. Why use that word over and over again? But it was basically your normal high school romance. No, it's college. It's college romance, but it seemed like a high school romance. My bad. But they kept talking about girls and how they were like, oh, this girl looks great, but her tits look better. And it was just so stupid. I hated this book, honestly, which makes me really sad because I really wanted to love this book. I do have the second one in the series, so I'm going to read that one as well to give it a shot. But if I don't like that one, I'm not going to buy the other 2. Second book that I read in June was People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry, and I ended up giving this one a 4 stars. This one is about Poppy and Alex, and they used to be best friends, and then something happened and they stopped talking to each other. But she misses her friend, so she asked him to go on one last vacation with her because they went on 10 vacations, I believe, while they were friends. It switches between past and present timelines, so it goes through each summer that they spent together, and then it goes back to the present, and then goes back to another summer, and then back to the present. I was really more interested in the present than I was in the past. It kind of bored me a little when I was in the past. But otherwise I thought it was a really good book. And I'm excited to read more by Emily Henry. The next one that I read, I don't have a physical copy of it. But I read The Ugly Truth by Jeff Kinney. It's book 5 in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid series. Gave that one 3 stars as well. And then the same day I read books 6 and 7 as well. So I also read Cabin Fever. Gave that one 3 stars. And I read The Third Wheel and gave that one 3 stars. I'm pretty sure this is just going to be a 3-star series for me, but I do want to finish it because of, the nostalgia factor. So then the next book that I read in June was Nora Goes Off Script by Annabelle Monaghan. This book is about Nora, who is a screenwriter. She just gets offered a big movie deal after she writes a screenplay of her life. So she's currently going through a divorce and she writes about it. And she gets these, I don't know hold on, let me see if it says. It doesn't say, what movie company picks it up, but, it's a big company. And so she gets this really big movie star to play her husband. After filming is over, she's expecting to find everybody gone, but she finds the big movie star sitting on her front porch. And he's like,
I have a proposition for you. How about I stay here for a week and then I'll move on with the rest of my life?
But he wanted to go to this little small town and try to figure out life on his own, basically, where he doesn't have people following him around and telling him what to do and controlling his finances, and he can just do whatever he wants. So she agrees to let him stay for a week. I just thought this book was really cute and really funny. I really, really like this author now. She's one of my new favorites. Okay, the next book that I read in June was Heartstopper Volume 2 by Alice Oseman. I don't know, really how much to say about this because I don't want to spoil anything, obviously, since this is, book 2 in a series. but it's still about Nick and Charlie. It's just really, really cute. It is a graphic novel, so if you're not into those, you probably won't like it, but I really enjoy this whole series. I gave this one 4 stars. Then I read Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice Oseman, and again, gave this one 4 stars as well. It's still really cute. More stuff happened in this one, though, and there is a trigger in here. It's eating disorders. That's the word I was looking for. So just be on the lookout for that. This one has triggers of eating disorder. And so does book 4, which I read after that. This one also has more triggers of eating disorders. But I also gave the book 4 stars as well. But I really love this whole series. I did not read book 5 this month because I'm trying to save it until book 6 comes out. I'm trying to not finish the whole series right now, even though I really want to. Then the next book that I read was Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. And I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I don't know what it was about this one, but I didn't like it that much. Okay, this book is about Sam, and every summer her family would go stay in a beach house, and next door to the beach house she had a best friend named Wyatt. And eventually her and Wyatt had this teen summer romance type thing going on. And then Wyatt suddenly just went off to college and ghosted her. She spent a few years trying to just get over him. Now it's the present, and she's currently engaged to this guy named Jack. She's like,
well, Jack's what I want. I have my life all planned out. My life is fine. This is what I want.
She goes back to the beach house to spend the summer with her parents, and Wyatt shows up next door, and all of her feelings for him come rushing back. While she's engaged to Jack, she's still having feelings for Wyatt and trying to figure out who she really wants. And everyone's telling her that she needs to leave Jack because she's settling for him and that he's not good for her. This book, I just didn't like it. And I think it was the fact that she was engaged to somebody else but having feelings for her ex. I think that's what threw me off, and I didn't like that. But yeah, I ended up giving this one 3 stars. But I still want to read more by this author. Then the next book that I read was Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. And this is book 1 in her Hoop series. I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars, I believe, is what I said on. And I had a love-hate relationship with this book. So before you go into this one, please, please, please read the trigger warnings. It deals with domestic abuse and rape and sexual assault, and there's physical and mental abuse in it. And it's a really, really heavy book, but it's also really, really good. So this is about Iris, who's in a relationship with basketball's golden boy named Caleb. And Caleb is really, really rich, and so he can basically get away with anything that he wants. He just has to have his dad tell people, yeah, he's not going to do that, or this is how it's going to be, or whatever, and then it happens. And Caleb has this really big rival named August, and Iris and August meet in a bar and become friends, kind of, but she knew who he was, but he didn't know who she was. So she knew that it was her boyfriend's biggest rival, so she couldn't really be friends with him. And then they meet again a few years later, and he finds out that she's dating Caleb. And he's like, well, we could still be friends. I know you're in a relationship with someone else. I wish it was with me, but we could still be friends. And they become friends and stuff. And then Caleb finds out, and he gets really upset. And then things take a turn for the worse. Then eventually she sees him again years later. Now she's trying to make a choice on if she wants to go be with August or stay with Caleb, even though her relationship with Caleb is falling apart. And it's just very, very emotional. I do recommend this if you don't have triggers. But if you have triggers, I would not read it. But I did end up giving this 4.5 stars, and I thought it was really good. And then the next book that I read was Until Friday Night by Abby Glines. And this one also has a few triggers in it. I think that the trigger in this one is death of a parent. West is the guy in this book. He is dealing throughout this book of the fact that his dad is dying of cancer. Maggie also had to deal with watching her father shoot her mother in front of her. So they're both dealing with the death of a parent. but in different ways. West is on the football team, and he is really good friends with Maggie's cousin. Whenever Maggie comes to town, West meets her, and she doesn't speak to anybody because of the trauma that she went through watching her father kill her mother. She kind of became mute, and West likes that about her because now he feels like he can tell her how he's feeling and like how life's going for him. But then she suddenly talks back to him, but she'll only talk to him because she knows that he needs her to. It was kind of a cute book. Like, I liked that aspect of it, but this was a high school romance, and the way that the people in the school were treating each other was not okay. They kept calling women sluts and stuff, and there was also racism in this book that really kind of ticked me off. But other than that, I did enjoy the storyline. I just didn't like the other plots going on. But I ended up giving this a 3.5 stars. I don't know if I said that earlier, but I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. The next book that I read was Every Time I Go on Vacation, Somebody Dies. Let me read the actual title, please. Every Time I Go on Vacation, Someone Dies by Catherine Mack. And I highly recommend this book. This is a cozy murder mystery. And it's about Eleanor, who is an author of this vacation mystery series. That's the title. So she's an author of this vacation mystery series where she takes something that happened to her in a real life and twists the facts around to make it a fiction book. And the main character is her ex-boyfriend. This is taking place on the 10-year anniversary of the first book being published. And so she's supposed to be coming out with the 10th book. And her plan is to kill off the main character because she doesn't want him in her life anymore. So she's going through the motions of trying to plan out how she's going to kill him. But in real life, someone's actually trying to kill him. And so now she's got to play detective in real life and figure out who's trying to kill him and what their motives are and all that. And it's really, really funny. And I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. And I just love this one. I did see the, I guess, twist coming, I guess is what you could say. I figured it out really early on in the book. Well, I figured out half of it anyway, really early on in the book. So whenever it like actually happened, I was like, I knew it. But I really, really enjoyed this book. And from reading the author's note, she signed on a contract for 3 books. So there's 2 more coming out at some point, and I'm really excited for them. The last book that I read was 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Obviously, because of the title, I had to read it in June. But this one was about Eva and what was his name? Shane. And they are both authors, and she writes books about him, and he writes books about her. They fell in love years and years ago, and then suddenly they just like broke it off. We're no longer together. And then they meet, I think it's like 15 years maybe later, and they have 7 days to figure their lives out and figure if they want to still be together and all that. And it was really, really emotional and also really cute. The first paragraph of this book is the reason I started reading it, because it got me hooked. It was really funny and it had me hooked. But I do recommend this one. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. So, highly recommend. So yeah, those are the 14 books that I ended up reading in June. And hopefully I will get to read all of the 10 books my husband picked out for me in July. Hopefully more than 10. But hopefully I at least finish a monthly TBR for once. That is what I want to do. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day.